Hi, my name is Dennis Black, and welcome to the Plumas Eureka State Park Woodshop. I want to first start off with the bench. The bench is really the center of every woodshop. And this bench is probably in the late 1800s. And there would have been woodworkers here in Plumas Eureka many years ago. In fact, up on the little town of Eureka Mills, there was, in a census from the 1800s, there was 5 carpenters up there. And they made things like buckets and chairs, coffins, any number of things. So every small town would have a woodshop. And you think, well, where did these tools come from? Well, some of the tools came from ships, because many ships came into San Francisco Bay, and the people that were on the ship carpenters, would abandon the ship and make their big bucks there at the gold fields. And they would sometimes bring their tools. And some of the tools we have here are from the 1700s, all the way up to more modern tools. And so we'll take a minute, first of all, just to explain a little bit about the bench. So this is called a vise, and inside this vise is a wooden screw here. And as I turn this, that's going to clamp to a piece of wood, because in order to do much of the work, you need to be able to hold on to it. And this is just a typical hand plane from the 1800s. I'm sure many of these were used just like this. And they would then smooth a piece of wood so you can glue different pieces of wood together. The longer the plane, the flatter the surface. And so if it's working out, it makes a shaving all the way down, which then allows me to a little bit later, there's maybe in the late 1800s, a guy by the name of Bailey invented a plane like this. This one works very good because you can just adjust the feel. But some old timers didn't like the feel of the metal on the wood. And so they started making a wooden sole with the easy adjustment. And they don't make these anymore. But eventually, Stanley bought out Bailey's patent, and they work wonderful. There's also a lot of specialty planes. Some of these specialty planes depend upon what you're doing. This plane is called a sun plane, and it just goes around the top of the barrel to level off the barrel. This plane here is called a crow's, and it has a sharp blade here, and it goes around the top of a barrel and cuts the groove for either the bottom or the top. This is known sometimes as an old hag's tooth. Imagine if this is her smile, this is her only remaining tooth. And that is used for making mortises, tenon joints, also for hollowing out potatoes. And some of you have seen like the big buck saws. This is the smallest one I've ever seen, and it does very good for making dovetails. Some of the planes are real tiny, and some are very long. This is another cooper's tool. So a cooper is a person that makes buckets and barrels and things. But instead of pushing the plane across the wood, the cooper would set this up, it would be set in the vise, and the blade is here, and they would slide the piece of wood across and get a certain angle in order to be able to put the buckets together. I love this tool because it's from about 1850, but this tool has a story to tell. I don't know if you can tell the indentations from the thumb. But you put your thumb here and you put your finger here, and it'd be used to scoop out a seat. But whoever used this for a lifetime was right-handed, because you could just tell by holding it, but his thumb was more in the middle there. And it wore out the brass plate, and so I can imagine that whoever owned this used it for 50 years making chairs. So it has a story to tell. This is another specialty plane. This is called a plow plane, because the blade here kind of on the angle of a plow. It makes a groove. So if I'm going to, say, make a drawer, I need to have a little groove on the side in order to put the bottom in. Or if I'm making a candle box, which they used up inside the mines, this is missing the handle, but it's from the 1700s. It's got ivory inside of it as wear plates, but it's rare. The fence. This is called the skate. It does the same thing with the others. But then around the late 1800s, people started inventing adjustable blades. So this one has the depth gauge that adjusts, the fence that adjusts. This is the blade for the plow. And you turn a little crank to adjust it back and forth. And this is Stanley 45. I've taken off some of the parts. It works wonderful. And as they continue to develop more and more planes, they came up with more and more complex gadgets. So I think you might need a doctorate to know how to be able to run this plane, but it does lots of different things, and it's very fun to try it out. But some of the most valuable planes are plow planes that have wooden screws for adjusting the fence. Still the same idea, still have the plow blade like stake, and then you can take out this blade and change different sizes. But some of the very unusual and rare planes have gone for sale for over $100,000. But this one has a little gauge up at the top to adjust the depth, which is back inside here. And it sharpened, even though it's about 1850, still works perfectly.